What's up? So Charles Barkley was right when he said that SGA is the face of the NBA. He said Jokic and he said Giannis. He said Anthony Edwards ain't. He said ESPN needs to stop the propaganda and the cap. That's a shout out to Stephen A. Smith and to Kendrick Perkins, who he's going to be working with. What I like about Barkley, he don't mince words. He's speaking facts. Ant is exciting. He has aura, charisma, but that's also at your local strip club and bar. But that don't necessarily mean that you should be a superstar. But that ain't stopped the music industry because with Cardi B and Meg The Stallion, etc. I can go on about that. It's no different tangent. You see it when you overhype something, you make it like more than what it is. He's a very good player, but he got a lot to learn. He got to utilize his teammates. He got to learn not to be so easily frustrated and take responsibility. He don't want to be the main guy in the league, but he want to be the main guy in the league. He want to say that the old guards didn't have no skill set. They would have figured some of this out. Now, I'm looking across state lines. You're more talented than Tyrese Halliburton, but Halliburton is playing a complete game that you don't have come close to. But Halliburton ain't nowhere close to being one of the best players, but you got the hype behind you. See, hype goes a long way, and charisma and what you got. But he ain't in the argument with those guys. Giannis and Jokic are made men. They won chips. SGA got an MVP. And they all three got MVPs. SGA on his way to a title. You're not in that conversation. We're so desperate to make someone who come close. This is the narrative that they try to sell all the time. They don't want to admit that the best players are non-American players. And that's the hardest thing because they're so desperate. It didn't work with Jason Tatum because he is kind of a dull cat. Got a lot of talent, and I like the cat, and I'm wishing him the road to recovery. But he's not really charismatic. He doesn't really hit like that. He just happens to play for a team that is polarizing, but he's not polarizing. Jaylen Brown, his teammate, is polarizing, but Jaylen doesn't have Tatum's vibe as far as crossover for a lot of different reasons. It's not always based on your skill set. So if you mix those two, you'd have, like I said before, one of not only the greatest Celtics ever, probably one of the 12, 15 greatest players ever, because if you put all that together, but you can't. So, and Edwards comes along, got this rawness and this vibe. They're hoping that he cashes in. They couldn't do it with Zion Williamson, so they're hoping they can't do it with John Morant. So maybe Ant is the one. And maybe, and Tatum can't seem to be one, and they won't touch Jaylen Brown. But you can't manufacture. This ain't like a pop singer. Okay, this is what they trying to do. The NBA, ESPN, them is trying to American Idol you. Well, let's go out and he looked great against the Lakers, and I already been through that already. LeBron is old. Luka lost weight. He won an award now. He won on the sideline, lost 20 pounds. Where was it during the playoff? You eating all them cheeseburgers and drinking all that beer and smoking them cigars, and your butt your butt was just like looking for some Pepto in game 3. Like I forgot. Your coach called you out, okay? Now say it. And you didn't have Anthony Davis. You needed that. I think you would have given the Timberwolves. You got Rudy Gobert up there looking like calling him Shaquille, Chamberlain, Abdul, Russell. He and Elijah one. He had a 5 and a Moses. Like he was 6 guys in one. That was embarrassing enough. Then we get to the next round where you beat Golden State. And without Steph Curry, who was worried about Jimmy Butler? Who think I don't know, he was doing steps like he was part of the Pips and like he's going to morph into James Harden, get free throw calls. And no, he can't shoot like that. He's a good player, a sidekick, a strong Robin, but he's no Batman. And that 2020 then wore off. The Rachel Nichols all that wore off. Draymond going to save him. So I'm not saying that they didn't beat legit teams. However, he getting exposed. He's a couple points off from where he was in those other 2 series because he can't manhandle and dictate with SGA. SGA is a different speed. And see, now he's going against a peer. See, beating up on them old men, long story short, beating up on them old men and ESPN, it was clout chasing like, oh yeah, you knocked LeBron off. We slurp at the altar of LeBron. Oh, you knocked Kevin Durant off. We still slurp at the altar of Kevin Durant because we still, and slurp at and Steph Curry. They want all 3 of them to win and they all got this whole kumbaya thing and all that. But yet they hoping that this new cat emerges and takes over. Charles Barkley said, you have to earn your keep, not just get it by a name. This ain't no singing show where we just gonna put you in the band and we're gonna make you the front lead singer. No, you got to put the work in. And see, he's got to put the work in and go through some real suffering and make some adjustments on his ego and his attitude. And he's got to take it personal. But before you pop off, like Magic Johnson said, you ain't won nothing, stop running your gums and get on that floor and do what you're supposed to do. Because you got to figure it out. And you got to keep Julius Randle entertained. You can't have Julius Randle going, well, he had 2 games of 11 points. If Julius Randle scores 10 in this last game, you win. If you pushing 20 points, you got to dictate. You don't like SGA being a free throw merchant, you got a problem? Why don't you go to the hole more? Why don't you crash harder? Why are you settling? And that's the problem. You ain't there yet, but they trying to fill in the narrative that you're the next D Wade, you're the next Kobe, the next Jordan, the next Harden, the next this, next that. Be the first Ant Edwards. But Charles Barkley's right. You're not the face of the NBA. SGA, Jokic, and Giannis are, and they're better than you right now. You can be there, but you need to go do some work. And you need to keep your teammates and people involved and take it personal. Take it personal. Please like, subscribe, work on thoughts, comments, and I do respond. Thank you. Wash your hands. Keep your mind clear. Watch out for another. Share if you like. Stay safe, stay blessed, stay woke, stay free. I'm out one time. Peace.